All right, we are broadcasting and we have people rolling in. We have an excellent turnout today for our webinar on Microsoft Teams Mastery. Let's see, and we are recording this, so this will be shared afterwards. We have a number of people that arrived. It's a lot of existing clients, so nice to see everyone, and a good chunk of companies we've never spoken to. So hopefully everyone finds value in this. My name is Alex. I'm the CEO of RedKey Solutions, and we have Mike here as well. Mike, I think you're muted. And Mike is the account executive here at RedKey.
Hello.
Hey, so
hello everyone.
Our main purpose here is to talk about Microsoft Teams and how it can help you work from anywhere and collaborate with your team the best way possible. There's a question and answer at the bottom of the webinar, so please use that and ask any questions, and there's also a poll, so please fill that out and we'll review the questions and answers at the end of the webinar. So let's begin. Here is Microsoft Teams. All right. So Microsoft Teams is Microsoft's answer for Slack. If you guys have ever used Slack, it is a software which basically allows you to chat with your team or have direct chats. Microsoft, however, has made a massive improvement on Slack and this whole concept. So it is basically a way for your team to collaborate, communicate, and talk. So there's the main modules here is the activity tab. Now activity I don't necessarily use that much. The main things to pay attention to is chat and teams. Okay, chat is basically direct messages. You can do group messages, like you can pull in multiple people in a chat. You can also pull in additional messages. Let's see, people are asking questions. So you can add additional members. Under the chat area, you can just type, like you could say, "Hey, Mike." You can also send images. So for example, if you want to send an image from a website, you can open up the website and do a screen clipping like this, and then go back to Teams and just paste it in. Okay, it's pretty cool. You can say, "Hey, Mike, take a look at this PDF." And you can just send this PDF over to Mike. Say, "Hey, take a look at this." So you can share files much easier than in an email. You can add additional people to this chat. You can say, "Hey, Paul, take a look at this PDF as well." It has emojis, which everyone knows. They're fun to use. You can give Mike this little silly monkey emoji. There's GIFs. So GIFs are really cool. You could say, "Check this out." This is a great way to express yourself. It's actually very, very fun, right? So for people that have not used GIFs, they're really cool. And the stickers is another thing. You can give people make your own memes, which is also pretty fun. So the idea is find a way to make things fun at work. So that's that. Then there is add a schedule meeting. To be honest, the calendar function and the meeting function actually works better in Outlook, so we don't use that. There's a number of other cool things like Poly. It's doing a poll, so you can do that with a bunch of people. Now, the other really cool thing is we have a video call option. So let me actually turn off the webcam here in Zoom, and then because you can't use it in both. So Mike, why don't you give me a call? We tried to do this while I'm in Zoom. It doesn't really work when I call Mike because I'm using my connection. But if you press this button, it will do a video call. So Mike, give me a call. And you can turn off your webcam in Zoom first.
All right.
So it pops up saying Mike is calling me. And here I am. Hey Mike, can you see me? Fantastic. Now, the cool thing is I can also share my screen from here. So we use this all day long. people are calling back and forth with Zoom. We don't even use our phones that much anymore with Teams, and we can share our screen. So I could say, hey, Mike, so take a look at this. Let's actually look at this company. Oh, look, it's a managed IT company. What are they all about? Oh, they do all these services. Let me take a look. Oh, wow. They handle everything from strategy to projects and cybersecurity. I think we need this company, Mike. What do you think? Probably a good one. Let's go take a look at this PEO. We use JustWorks for all of our PEO, payroll, benefits, everything. This is another thing we can take a look. And then Mike, you can request control as well in Teams. I can give you control, and then we can have both of our mice on the same screen, which is really cool. See, I can do that. Mike, can you request control at the bottom? I think you have to do it. See, so I can give Mike control up here. So there's a little echo because we have like multiple connections running. So now Mike, move your mouse. You can see. So that's Mike's mouse right here, and this is my mouse, and we can talk about this and say, hey, take a look at this. We have all these cloud services to offer. Best cloud in the New York City area. So that's a way to manage screen sharing and video calling. Now you don't have to do a video call. So if you can just turn off your webcam and it's just like a call. See, I can turn off my webcam. Mike, you can turn your webcam off. See, and just like a regular call, you can chat while you're in the call, which is great as well. You can add people to it. So let's say I wanted to add Paul. I think Paul is actually watching the webinar. Let's see if this will actually work, and I surprise him and he can pop in and say hi. This is unscripted, everybody. Oh, Paul's coming in. Hopefully I didn't get him while he's eating lunch. Hey, there's Paul. Are you watching the webinar? That's funny. You got pulled into a webinar you're watching. So that's how easy it is to just pull somebody in, right? Paul didn't even know that we were going to pull him in. And he's leaving, right? So we can add additional people to this. So it's really an amazing collaborative tool here. All right, so I'm going to hang up here, Mike, and we'll go back to Zoom. The other major thing to pay attention to is actual teams, okay? So the teams is group chat, all right? So here are our teams. We have general, and under general, we have two channels. We have a general and a Corona social distancing, just general channel where we're talking about all the crazy chaos that's happening lately. We have a team leaders channel, which is department heads. We have services, different things we do. And services, the icon for services we made is a lion because they're fearless and they get things done. And then under solutions, the icon is the wolf. It's from Pulp Fiction, the wolf that comes in and figures out a solution to a problem. So that's our solutions team. I know many existing clients have interacted with that team. We have the VCIO team. Service leaders are people that are just specifically responsible for managing service quality. So there's a number of members in that. We have executives. Sales is another one. Accounting, paintball warriors we have a group of people that go paintballing. We did it as a company event and it stuck. So now we have a paintball channel. Leadership is another one, different people in that. Principals are owners of the company. Marketing is another channel. And here's a sample team that I made. So it's here. This is for us. So when you have a team, first of all, let's talk about how to make a team. So I think teams can only be made by admins. So there should be people in your company that are designated as admins, and those people should control the sprawl and not make additional channels and additional groups. But definitely you can have a couple of people that are admins. If you're existing clients, email us. We can help you set this up. Very simple. We can walk you through it. You can make a team here. So let's make a new team and let's call this pretend a team. Let's say this is going to be a private team or a public team. So public team is anyone in the organization, or private team is invite only. So let's call it the estimating team. And so let's say you have an estimating department and you want all your estimators to be in one department talking. And that's how easy it is to make a team. So now let's say I want to add Mike to the estimating department. Right? And then let's say I want to add an external person. That's our external estimating consultant. Here's Jess as our marketing consultant. I can add her as a guest. I'm not going to for this demonstration. And then we have the estimating team, right? Now, you can then go in here to manage the team and set the icon. You can upload the picture. So let's say we want to make the estimating team the little calculator. So now here's the estimating team, right? So you can say, hey, take a look at this bid coming out tomorrow in White Plains. You bid it? And then you can drag a PDF in. Now, very important to understand is this is threaded. So that means if you want to add something, ideally, you want to add it to the specific thread that you are talking in. Anytime you do a new conversation, start a new conversation. So you can say, also take a look at this NYC bid. And now Mike can reply to these individually. Now, when I first switched to Teams from Slack, this was the main reservation that I had, the fact that it's threaded. But to be honest, now when I use Slack, I miss threads because multiple people could be having multiple conversations in one spot, in one channel, which is pretty powerful and pretty impactful. So that is spreading, how to do threads. See, Mike didn't reply in the thread. So really, Mike, you should reply in the thread. You can also go in here and delete messages. So I delete that message, let Mike reply in the particular thread. Teams also has emojis, has GIFs, stickers. You can call everyone on the team using this button. So if I want to call Mike on this team, I press this button and it will call all the people on this team. So we do this often if, let's say, there's a small team with like, say, 3 to 4 people, we'll usually just call in and do that. There's another cool feature is you can call people out. So I can say add Mike and I can say, hey, take a look here. So this will actually pop up a notification on his screen, right? And then we can also do Control-Shift-I, which makes it important. And I could say, hey, Paul, he's not in this group, he's not in this team. So I could say, hey, Mike, we need to bid this by 2 p.m., by 3 p.m. today. So this is another cool feature. You can do mark things important by Control-Shift-I, and it will add an additional level of notification on Mike's screen and in here. Now, another very powerful piece of Teams is files. So this is basically like an Ignite, Dropbox, SharePoint replacement. So we are moving all of our file structure into SharePoint, which is going to be in here. So if you want to start a new Excel workbook, you can call it the estimating calendar. And now it's here, which is pretty amazing. And this is a collaborative Excel sheet that both Mike and I can type into. And now, Mike, if you go to files at the top and open up that sheet, you can type in, this is Mike at the top. This is all unscripted, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see.
So, yeah.
If you open up files and then open that up, you might be able to get there. And doing this with Zoom, multiple monitors, broadcasting the screen, and then being in Teams is like a monitor within a monitor. So no fault, Mike, if you can't get there.
No, I'm there.
Yeah. So we do this very frequently as we have these shared Excel sheets for a variety of things. Did you type it in, Mike?
I believe so. You don't see that?
I do not. I may have to close. Let's see. I think it's in multi-editor mode. Either way, this is the way you would do that. There might be some delay because we're doing that. But the other thing is if you press sync up here, this will sync this folder into your My Computer. So watch this. This estimating folder is now here under RedKey Solutions. And that estimating calendar file is here. So that is very powerful.
I did type into it, but I don't know why it doesn't show.
Interesting. Maybe you have to exit and save. Maybe you don't have autosave enabled or something.
I'll just save it.
Yeah, just save it. I know I've been using this more than you have. So that's a really cool feature, is being able to have files. So a lot of our teams and channels have individual files, like we have a project list file for under the Pro Services team. So it's a quick way to get into these different things. So this is all accessible in the Teams app and the OneDrive app on an iPhone, iPad, everywhere. And now if you want to send this file to somebody now, you can go in here and go under the estimating folder and right click here and share it. And this shares with a link. You can share it where anyone outside your organization can access. Our permission's blocked out right now. You can allow editing or you can block editing. You can enable a password on this. So this is a very powerful way to be able to share files out with people, right? You can share it through a million different ways. And you can do revisions. You can view it online, see the revisions of the file. And the best thing is all RedKey clients, we have a secondary layer of backup on the Microsoft Cloud, which allows us to back it up in case if you actually delete this. So this whole structure replaces backup disaster recovery for files, versioning. The power of this whole integration is very difficult to explain in a short conversation. The other important thing is you can do additional tabs. So there are apps in here. I think there's a whiteboard app somewhere. There you can add a OneNote page. You can do a Word doc. You can add an Excel. You can add an individual file up there. There's a million apps now in the team marketplace. I think you can even go in here and say, make this a tab. So watch this. So now the estimating calendar is a tab, and there's Mike's message here. So while you're working in Teams and chatting, you can basically also see the Excel doc right here, which is extremely powerful. And then if you want to add additional people, you can manage it all up in here. So that is the quick recap. Best practices to follow is definitely type in the thread, post in the right channel, avoid channel sprawl. So for a period of time, we kept adding additional channels, and maybe we have a little bit too many anyway, like general and technical services really is the same channel, but people do put general service chat and then more technical chat in here. But ideally limit the sprawl of channels. If you have really collaborative, I hit a bunch of teams in here, but we have teams with a lot of existing clients where we're doing a lot of collaboration and speaking and just live communication. So if you are an existing client and you want to have a direct channel with us, please let us know. Email Jason or send an email to help@redkeysolutions.com. The other important thing to note is you can download the Teams app on your iPhone. This is my iPhone, my Juliet. And you can communicate the same way, voice, video, chat, everything works on an iPhone or an iPad or an Android. One other very, very cool trick is you can go in here and make an appointment. So let's do let's say webinar recap So I'm going to make an appointment for me and Mike for after this webinar. And I can go in here and I can add teams in the same way as I can add a GoToMeeting, a Zoom, and I can send this to Mike. And after this meeting, Mike just has to click that link and it launches it. So we are sending appointments constantly. Like yesterday, we had prepare for Teams webinar. And in here, we had our link and our agenda. So that's a very useful way to be able to send an appointment. And then Mike just clicks that link and we join up in the team and we work like we're in the same office. It's actually more efficient than sitting in the same office with Mike, because I don't have to walk over across the office and we don't have to go into a conference room. We can all sit at our desks and communicate when we get back all into the office together. So that is that. Just a quick shameless plug about RedKey Solutions. We are a managed IT company. Before we get into questions, you can learn more about us on our website. We do everything from support. Let's go in here to tell you we have a virtual CIO strategic perspective on your organization. We can handle all that. Full outsourced IT. We manage the network, provide amazing support, always trying to get better. All projects you need, cybersecurity and compliance, backup disaster recovery. We manage the whole Office 365 Microsoft Cloud, and we provide cloud services. It's the best cloud that I have seen personally in the marketplace. The best cloud desktops, clean. They're not perfect. No IT is perfect, but the cleanest cloud services that I have seen to date. I can be proud to say that. So the next thing is, if you are a client and want to set this up, email help@redkeysolutions.com. If you are not a client and want to learn more about what RedKey does, go to redkeysolutions.com. You can click schedule consultation and pick time to just talk to us. We can give you just general guidance, or if it makes sense, we can give you a proposal. And let's jump into some questions. We have a number of questions. How many people does video support? So you can have definitely more than 4 people. What it does is it only shows 4 in one screen. We hear from Microsoft that they're going to open it up to show like 20 in one screen. Basically what it does is it shows you the 4 active speakers at any given point. Somebody says, what do you think the best way to set up Teams is? What do you think is the most appropriate use of Teams over chats? So Teams and chats are kind of the same thing. You can have group chats with multiple people. Like that chat when I called Paul, this is now a group chat for both of us. Hey guys, Teams is mainly like a consistent chat, because I can go in here and I can leave this chat, right? I can go in here and mute this chat. I can leave the chat. So Teams are more like departments. Chats are just like, think about like iMessage on a phone, right? You can just add anyone into that chat. And then what do you think the best way to set up Teams is? So there should be a champion in your organization that's going to set this up. If you are a RedKey client, reach out to Jason, our VCIO. He knows your organizations. He has set up Teams in a number of our clients. He can help set up a logical structure, and then we can assign some additional admins in your organization, and you can send invites to people in your organization. You roll it out slowly, but once it catches, it really is a complete game changer of how your organization can work. And the best thing, everybody, is if you're on the Microsoft Cloud, it's free. There's no cost to this. This is just part of your subscription that you're already paying for. Somebody says, when you're moving files into SharePoint, is there a way for SharePoint Microsoft to host a server so all of our documents can be collaborative? No, unfortunately. So once you move stuff into SharePoint, it's in this special folder. As you can see here, it's still in Windows, right? This is a Windows structure, but it's in this special folder under a SharePoint site. So it essentially replaces file servers. It won't have a full replacement for all servers. Like if you have an app that only runs on a server, we will move it to Microsoft's cloud and host it there, or leave it local. But we are slowly moving all file servers into SharePoint. It is a game changer. Some of our clients are using Ignite. Ignite in some ways is still better than SharePoint. It's a more comprehensive system, but it's long-term. We anticipate most things will move into SharePoint as it becomes faster and better. But we have run our other company. It's a software company in SharePoint for 4 years. We've had no issues, and we have a number of clients running in full SharePoint, and there's no issues. It's a complete game changer. Somebody says, is Teams and Channels one and the same? They're not. They're technically in these two separate tabs. However, they work very similarly. The only difference is I don't believe in the chat there is threads. So yes, there is no threads. So chats do not have threads. And if we work with freelancers that don't have Microsoft Outlook email address, can they get access to this? Yes, I believe you can now in the new version of Teams. You can email people that don't have a Microsoft account, and they can just log in. To log into Teams, the other important thing is you can just go to Teams, just Google Teams Microsoft, and you can just go in here and sign in. It also works in the web, so you don't even have to download the app. We recommend the app. It works a little bit better. Does syncing put the files into OneDrive? So that's another question we had. Great question. So the way it works is there's actually a OneDrive and SharePoint. It's actually all using OneDrive, okay? But in Windows, it separates it. OneDrive is your My Documents replacement, and SharePoint, which works identically as OneDrive, is a group collaborative replacement. Somebody says, can Teams replace Zoom for internal and external video conference calls? Yes, I believe it can. It doesn't work perfectly, but if I take this webinar recap and I email somebody outside the company, it will give them this link. They would need Teams installed and logged in to be able to access it. So it's not as crisp as Zoom, where anyone can just log into Zoom without an account. But I believe they are releasing that. The long-term vision is that Teams is going to replace Zoom, GoToMeeting, and other things, which have some place. Teams doesn't have webinars yet, so Zoom will still have some place. Is there a way to get your personal phone number on Microsoft Teams? When we're in Teams meeting, I call clients or colleagues, it pops up as an Albany 518 number. So I'm not sure. There's Teams calls, which is essentially a phone system replacement, which is something that we're going to be exploring more and more, but it's still not a perfect replacement to a phone system. The call function, somebody says, does the call function include video? So the call function does include video, or you can just call directly with an audio call. So you don't need to include video. And again, it reaches your cell phone. So a lot of times people just are contacting with Teams. Somebody says, is there any plugins or apps do you find particularly useful right now? Or is it not yet refined? So there is a lot of junk under here. I will say that. But the real plugins that are useful, so if you use Microsoft BI, that's really cool. Poly is a polling one. Word, Excel, things like that, you can add different tabs. We haven't found any other ones particularly like killer apps that you may want to run somewhere else. That's better to run in here. So Azure DevOps, if you do any development, is right in Teams. I don't think we have any. Lucid Chart, I believe, is like a Visio replacement. So we have not switched yet from Visio. We still like Visio, but you should definitely look in here and see what options are good. And then somebody asked about Planner. So Planner is a new product from Microsoft. It's cool, and it's something that we may work with in the future, but we personally like Asana. Asana is a little bit more powerful. So we have not switched to Planner. It's a kind of a task repository. And somebody also asked, when we make a private invite to a channel to somebody outside the organization, can they invite a person to see anything outside that specific channel? No, they cannot. they can only see their specific channel.
Now,
And
there's a few questions in the chat area as well.
okay, let me check that out. Oh, and also there's a poll. I guess I did not launch the poll. Everyone could please fill out the poll as best as you can. Let's see what other chat questions we have. Can you have an Excel spreadsheet on a file server? We have a SharePoint, but we're not using it. If you want to dial in, does anyone in your company need to add voice dialing to their 365 accounts? There's multiple questions. Can you add an Excel spreadsheet on a file server? You can't. You have to move that Excel spreadsheet into Teams. But essentially, if you have an Excel spreadsheet somewhere else, like let's say we want to take this Excel spreadsheet, let's see, what's a good one? Like this test doc, we can take it from our regular share drives and move it into here, and now this will be accessible under the estimating file, estimating teams right up here. All right, so long term, you can move all your docs into here. And somebody says, can you add voice dialing to your E3 account? As far as I know, it's a separate subscription, and then it is, I believe, $20 a month. It's something that we are looking at for replacing general phones, and it's a project because we have to move your phone lines and a whole other process. So I hope everyone found some value to this. I want to really thank you guys for attending. Please reach out if you have any questions. My information is amarkov@redkeysolutions.com, or you can reply to the webinar request. Visit RedKey Solutions and contact us there. And hope everyone found value, and we'll be doing more of these and more of little tips and tricks about how to use computers over time. Thanks so much, everybody. Stay safe.